Like, I am out here in these streets living my full Tokyo disposable income fantasy, okay? Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I am doing a haul video of all of my most recent makeup purchases. A lot of department stores during this time are having like big 10% off everything sales for the holiday season, especially if you hold a credit card with that store, which I have like almost all of them. I've lived in Tokyo for 10 years, okay? Leave me alone. So naturally, I thought, why not take this opportunity to pick up some of the items that I've had on my wish list for a while. And inevitably, of course, we picked up a few spontaneous items along the way, okay? Somebody, as always, ended up getting shiny object syndrome. Instead of calling them impulse purchases though, I would like to use the term spark joy purchases to borrow Marie Kondo's phrase. I'm not trying to co-opt her phrase, like she gets full credit for that. But yeah, I do want to borrow her phrase because I do think it's more appropriate to call them spark joy purchases rather than impulse purchases, and let me explain why. So I think the phrase impulse purchase has kind of a negative connotation where it's like you're basically using the shopping therapy or retail therapy to mask some anxiety or other dissatisfaction in another area of your life, which, believe me, I am totally guilty of just as much as anyone else out there, even as recently as last month in October. Spark joy, on the other hand, it comes more from a place of me just wanting to spoil myself. And that is the most accurate description that I can think of for my mindset right now in the middle of November and moving forward into 2022. I just want to spoil myself until I feel satisfied, whatever it takes. So it doesn't necessarily have to be monetary or material things. It could just be in the form of self-care or just not pushing myself too hard, taking a 3-hour nap if I want to instead of forcing myself to do work, and then also not feeling guilty or berating myself for being lazy because of that. Just like whatever I intuitively need or want to do for myself to feel happy and content, I'm gonna do it. And I'm not gonna feel guilty about it. And I feel like everyone should spoil themselves, actually, within your means, of course. But yeah, it's just like so much crazy stuff going on in the world right now. I mean, COVID is ongoing. Right at this moment, everyone's still reeling from and talking about the Astroworld tragedy that happened last week. I don't know about you guys, but that's literally the only thing that my YouTube notifications or my YouTube recommendations has been flooded with as of late, aside from my regular channels and topics that I watch, which is not like, I'm not saying that to complain. I think they need to get as much publicity as possible so that the victims and their families can get justice in some way. But yeah, it's just like, it's crazy out there, and I'm sure you don't need me to tell you this, but it's so important to take care of your own mental health. And you also, like, you don't need to feel guilty if you have it better than other people or if you are in a really blessed situation. You just have to make sure that you don't take your situation for granted. And as long as you practice gratitude, I think it's like, it's fine to enjoy and live your best life while still, of course, having empathy for those who may not be as fortunate. But you don't have to feel guilty or stop living your best life just because other people are going through a rough time. Does that make sense? Like, I hope that is not coming out the wrong way. But yeah, anyway, before I turn this into a video on a whole different topic, let's just get into the haul. I'm gonna just show you the makeup that I purchased today, but if I'm 100% honest, it's not just makeup, it's like literally everything. I have been shopping up a storm out in these streets, and like, I am not holding back. I'm talking about makeup, I'm talking clothes, I'm talking Michelin restaurants, face massages, and other treatments that I haven't had the time to look into yet, but I definitely want to get more like skin related treatments done. Like, I am out here in these streets living my full Tokyo disposable income fantasy, okay? And I do not feel ashamed or sorry about it, okay? So if you want to come along for the ride, you are more than welcome. Okay, so first up, I picked up quite a few new Etusei items. They are on the more expensive side for drugstore brands in Japan, so I wanted to wait for a sale such as this one with the 10% off because I really have been enjoying a lot of their products lately, especially after their relaunch. They are also one of the few Japanese makeup brands that are definitively cruelty-free, so they don't conduct any animal testing whatsoever. They also use like really gentle, natural, non-comedogenic ingredients. There's most of their products are fragrance free, and it's just like Etusee has been killing it. Honestly, after their epic rebrand, they have easily become one of my top go-to Japanese drugstore brands over the course of this past year. So the first product I got is a refill of their Face Edition Skin Base for oily skin. I've lost track of how many bottles of this I've gone through. I've actually just been wearing this, only this base, like without foundation or anything over it even, just because it's that good at controlling oil. Like this makeup that I have right now, it's actually it's all makeup from the items that I'm gonna show you in this haul. I've had this on for pretty much 10 plus hours for the entire day. It's midnight now when I'm filming. As you can see, the oil control properties of this product is still in full effect on my face. Like I think I blotted my T-zone once with an oil blotting paper, but that's it. I feel like I look moisturized and dewy without looking greasy and oily, which is definitely how I would look without this base. And this is, again, without a foundation. I find that my face makeup as a whole actually breaks down faster if I put a foundation over this. So like if I did use foundation, it would really be more just for the purpose of if I just really wanted a really even color all over my face, then yeah, I would have to go over it with foundation. But I'm not so fussed about that these days because I actually feel like my skin is kind of getting back to its former glory from all the beauty sleep that I've been getting. So again, I'm spoiling myself in each and every way, remember? Which means I'm actually making my sleep and my rest a priority. And yeah, I just feel like I really don't need foundation these days. This Etusee face primer is more than enough. So next thing I got is another repurchase from Etusee. This is their Face Edition powder. So this is my second compact of this powder. If you've been watching my channel for a while, you'll know that I pretty much used up almost all of the first compact that I owned. I think there was still a little bit of powder left at the end, like stuck in a ring around the pan. At that point I just threw it out because I didn't feel like scraping up that tiny little bit of powder. So like maybe technically it doesn't count as an empty. I will try to do better this time around. I'll try to actually finish every last speck of powder. But yeah, I was putting off purchasing another one of these because I felt like I didn't need it. I actually, a while ago, I bought the Excel Lasting Sheer powder. So this is their new, one of their new face powders, and I do like this powder a lot. It has that, it kind of has the same, like, what would you call it, pressing style of the Etusee powder. So I don't like powdery face powders, if that makes sense. I like powders that are so finely milled that when you actually apply it on the skin, it's like very smooth and it gives off a sheen like effect almost. So yeah, I typically don't like loose powders or just a typical powdery formulation, even if it's pressed in a pan, because I feel like it dries out my skin. So that's why I find myself drawn to these really I don't know how to describe it. I guess just really finely milled and tightly, densely packed together powder pans. I find that these are just much more comfortable for me to wear. They also don't get that weird baby powder smell that I feel like the looser, drier powders do. I don't know if I'm even making sense at this point, but yeah. So I had the Excel one for a while. I never made a video about this because there was just never a good timing, but I was impressed with this one, and especially this packaging. Can we talk about this packaging? It's like this beautiful faint marble shell design for the cover, and then there's like a semi-sheer brown tea-like color for the bottom half of the pan. It's just so classy and gorgeous. This might be like the most stunning packaging of all of 2021 for me, drugstore or high-end. But yeah, the difference between this one and the Etusee is that the Excel is, as you can see, it's pure white, so it goes on translucent, but it does give a whiter cast than the Excel one, which, as you can see, is more of a closer to a flesh tone. And then also, I just personally really enjoy the light fragrance. This one, the Excel one, is completely scentless, so if you're someone who's really sensitive to fragrances, you might actually prefer this one. And then lastly, I feel like the Etusee one has a cooling effect when you apply to the skin, which just feels really nice and clean. Like that combined with the fresh fragrance, it makes me really just feel fresh all day. Like no matter when I apply this throughout the day, whether it's after 5 hours or 8 hours or 10 hours of wear, no matter how gross my makeup feels at the time, this will really do the job to refresh everything. I just don't get quite that much of a boost from the XL sheer powder. So in the end, the Etusei still wins out, and as you can see, I could not resist picking up another one. So you know what's gonna happen. I'm just probably not gonna ever touch the poor XL powder ever again, because I am just like, I don't know what it is about me. I'm so all or nothing. I'm either like, I gotta have number one the best, or if it's something that I don't care about, like eyebrow powder, I'll just use the literal cheapest option possible, which is this AC Makeup Tokyo palette from Daiso. This is their Lip Edition Lip Plumper Healthy Style in 01 Icy Blue. You guys know my weird fetish for blue colored lip glosses or lip balms that actually apply clear once it's on the lips. But here it is, my latest blue lip thingy that has been added to the rotation. This has a very faint but pleasant minty smell, to me at least, and it also leaves a tingly cooling sensation on your lip. It's a little bit sticky, like it's not as soft and glidey as I expected, although maybe that's just because I only just started using it. Maybe when I get further towards the center, the formula will start to loosen up. But either way, I do enjoy it so far. It has these really pretty subtle micro glitters as well that you can't feel against your lips because they're so fine, which is a good thing. But it just adds that nice little sparkly effect, even though technically it's just a clear lip balm or lip plumper. I don't know if you can see through the camera, but the tube pinches up in this area into this very subtle teardrop shape, which I thought was kind of interesting and kind of helpful for that like sharp application. Not that that matters so much with this shade in particular, because this is basically clear, but they do have other colors in this Lip Edition Plumper line that are actually tinted to be a certain shade. Next I got the Etusei Eye Edition in 07 Apricot Beige. So this was not part of the original Etusei wish list, but it's the newest color variation that they added to this eye duo palette line. I think it literally came out like yesterday. This is not the first time that I've tried out their Eye Edition color palette, but I feel like the other ones that I've tried, both of the shadows in the palette were a shimmer formulation, whereas this one is a matte plus kind of like a topper shade. So the formula is definitely different for this one, and I don't think I realized that when I swatched it in the store. Yeah, it's just not very pigmented, and it did not pick up easily on the brush. It does that hard pan thing. This peachy matte shade, it just did not pick up easily on the brush. Even though I used my ABH eye primer, as always, I just feel like the color is not vibrant at all. Yeah, it does that weird hard pan thing where when you try to swatch it or pick up color with a brush or whatever tool, it just like condenses further into itself, and it's hard to loosen that top layer of powder. Same goes for the topper shade, which I found that there was also a lot of fallout for. Not the most horrible thing, like it's not unusable, but definitely did not live up to the expectations that the other color variations set up for me. I did go ahead and use this peachy beige shade as my blush today though, and I have to say I enjoy it much better as a blush, so I might just use it as that, honestly, and then I might just use this as a highlight. I think that's a really good solution actually, because I actually really enjoy it as a blush, right? It looks good. But yeah, just to forewarn you, this did not really live up to my expectations for an eyeshadow per se. Okay, it's actually getting kind of late. I have to actually be up a little bit early tomorrow for this study that I was asked to participate in. So when I say early, I mean early for a Sunday, so like 10 a.m. or something. This woman asked me to basically show up at this place on standby. So they already have all the participants for this study that they're planning to do signed up, but just in case somebody drops out or can't make it on time or something, they want me to be there on standby to take that person's place. So if everyone that originally signed up for the study shows up the way that they're supposed to, I get to just go home with 3,500 yen just by showing up. But if they don't, then I will have to participate in the study, but they'll give me the full 7,000 yen for, I think it's like an hour-long group interview. Yeah, and I get like emails for this kind of thing all the time, but I haven't been responding to a lot of them lately because frankly, I just don't need the extra pocket cash as much these days. Very grateful for that. But this woman basically like chased me down to be one of their standby participants, even though I never actually answered the survey. I've known this person for several years. Actually, I've participated in a handful of the studies that her organization does, but I don't know, they must be really desperate for participants this time. I don't know if it has to do with COVID and people not being as willing to leave their houses, but yeah, she literally chased me down. She emailed me, texted my phone, texted me online, like every single avenue available to her. She beat down on my electronic door, so to speak. So yeah, it is crazy out in these manifestation streets. I'll say that much. Like, money will literally start chasing you down like this when you get the hang of it. But that is a topic for another day. For now, so what I'm thinking is I'm just gonna finish out the 2 remaining Etusei items that I have, and we'll make it a part 1 and a part 2 because I really just want to get something out. I feel like it's been over a week since I uploaded a proper long form video, and yeah, I think it's a good place to divide it. So we'll make the part 1 the Etusei items haul, and then part 2 is going to be all of the other random brands that I got, which I'm also very excited for though. Like, I really, like the title says, it's a Spark Joy makeup haul. So every single item that I picked up I'm truly happy with, and I feel like it's just making my life that tiny little bit better. Okay, so next up we have the Etusei Eye Edition Gel Liner, and this is in 06, which is the shade Greige. So you guys know I don't normally go for gel liners, but I was really impressed with this one. It was really soft, smooth, and glidey. I just have a tiny baby swatch that I did a couple of hours ago, but as you can see, it is completely smudge proof as well. It's a 1mm diameter point, super fine precision point, really ideal for Asian type eyelids, monolids, that kind of thing. So I'm wearing this right now, and I have to say I think it goes perfectly with my gray smoky contacts that I have in right now. I didn't expect that this grayish color would be such a departure from the regular black that I usually use. I assumed they would just look pretty much the same from afar, because like how much of a difference can the human eye detect? But I have to say that I think it really does give a different vibe than a traditional black. So when I think of a traditional classic jet black eyeliner, especially when you lay it on really thick, I think of old Hollywood, pinup girl, that type of style. This grayish charcoal shade though, it just gives off that ever so subtle, softer, sultrier effect, which I really like. I think it's a modern way to incorporate the smoky eye effect without going like full-blown raccoon eyes, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm enjoying this so far. Super impressed with the smudge proof aspect. Like, I'm rubbing really hard right now, and you can see it is not budging whatsoever from that spot on my hand. However, do not be alarmed and take the budge proof properties of this gel liner as a sign that it will be difficult to remove, because that brings me to my last Etusei purchase actually, which is the Speedy Eye Makeoff Remover. This is a fragrance-free and colorant-free oil-based eye makeup remover. I haven't tried this on my actual eyelids yet. I'm gonna do that right after I film this video, but I will tell you that I used this in between all of the swatches of the different products. A little bit of this dabbed onto a cotton pad, removed everything like a charm, including this really intense, really smudge proof gel liner. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to film myself using this because I need 2 hands to remove the swatches, and I would have to angle my camera from the top where it has a bird's eye view of my hands. It's just too difficult for me to do because like I do have a Gorilla Pod thingy for my camera, so you can like twist it, and but that still requires something in the near vicinity to grip onto, like a doorknob or a towel rack or something, and I don't have that near enough to my sink or my bathroom faucet for me to be able to actually film myself removing the makeup swatches from my hands. So I do apologize for that, but if you can just take my word for it, this stuff is really good. And it says fragrance free, but it does have like that nice generic just like fresh cleaning smell. It smells like cleaner, but like not in a chemical way, in a good fresh way. The only slightly annoying thing about it is that the cap is a twist off style, so that can get slightly annoying and time consuming after a while. I would have preferred if they did like a flip cap, what's it called, a snap closure cap, but that's not a huge deal. Just thought I would mention it though. Okay, so that is it for part 1 of my Spark Joy haul featuring all Etusei items. I will get part 2 out for you guys really soon, I promise. Most likely I can film it tomorrow unless something major comes up. So yeah, for now I really need to go get some beauty sleep though. So thank you so much for watching as usual, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!